Hi guys, today I'll go over everything you should know about the U.S. Citizenship Test. The U.S. Citizenship Test includes two components, English and civics. The English component. The English test includes speaking, reading, and writing. Immigration officials will provide you with a digital tablet to use for your reading and writing tests. The English component will test your command of basic English grammar and vocabulary. Don't be afraid of making a few common mistakes on the English component. It's okay not to speak English perfectly. During the test, you may ask your immigration officer to clarify some of the questions. Your immigration officer may then repeat particular words or phrases, or clarify a question for you. The speaking test. On the speaking test, your immigration officer will ask you to answer questions about your naturalization eligibility or application. They do so to assess your English speaking and comprehension abilities. To best prepare for this part of the English test, you can read over your citizenship application before taking your exam. The reading test. On the reading test, the immigration officer will hand you a digital tablet. The tablet will display a sentence that your immigration officer will ask you to read out loud. You will be given, at most, 3 sentences to read out loud until you have read one correctly. If you read the first sentence correctly, you will have passed and won't need to continue reading more sentences. USCIS maintains a list of vocabulary words that you might see on the reading test questions. Examples of some of the words on this list include American flag, Abraham Lincoln, George Washington, Bill of Rights, Father of our country, senators, basic verbs like can, do, is, vote, and live, along with various American holiday names. The immigration officer administering your reading test is trying to see whether you understand the sentences you're reading. So, be sure not to pause for too long while reading sentences out loud. You should not replace any unfamiliar words in the sentence with words you are more familiar with. The writing test. The final part of the English component is the writing test. On the writing portion, you'll need to listen to the immigration officer say a sentence. Then, you'll write that sentence on your digital tablet using a stylus, the touchscreen pen tool. You must write 1 out of 3 sentences correctly to pass this section of the test. It's usually okay to make a few capitalization, grammatical, or punctuation errors. USCIS also maintains a list of vocabulary words that you might see on the writing test questions. Be sure to also review this list before your exam. The civics component. The civics portion of the naturalization test requires you to have a good understanding of U.S. history and the American government. To pass the civics test, you'll need to provide the correct answer to at least 6 out of 10 questions. Note that the civics test is not a multiple-choice test. USCIS maintains a list of all 100 possible questions that your immigration officer might ask you to answer during the civics test. Your immigration officer will select questions from this list at random to ask you. Your immigration officer will continue to ask you up to 10 questions until you have answered 6 correctly. Once you have answered your 6th question correctly, they will stop the test. Some questions will require you to do research in advance. For example, you might be asked to name one of your state's U.S. senators. Since state senators vary based on which state you live in, you should study any specific information like this in advance. Here is some helpful tips for preparing for the citizenship test. Begin studying as early as possible. Starting your studying early will help you practice and memorize important information. Complete practicing the civics tests. You should remember well all 100 questions and answers before your interview. Hopefully, this information is helpful for you. Thank you for watching.